You still working? Yes, what?
It is so good to see you're safe. I was worried. I've already lost more than enough friends. I didn't want to have to add you and Tor into that list. Yeah, well, really, it's the least I could do. I should tell you, I've been hearing from my contacts that Watchtower's fall hasn't gone unnoticed. Already, other factions out there have begun to find and uncover their hidden assets. Guess Watchtower are too preoccupied to enforce secrecy like they used to. If you plan to keep hunting listening posts, just know it may not be Watchtower that show up to investigate what you're up to. Anyway, I should get back to work. But again, glad you came back in mostly one piece.
I am here. Ah, there you are. I wanted to congratulate you. I don't think Watchtower has ever been dealt such a crippling blow. It'll take them a long time to recover from this. For the most part, yes. Watchtower is not gone, but it is weakened. For the time being, they will have more important things to attend to. Those members who know what has happened will focus on rebuilding. But this will take time. Those who don't know will continue on as normal. It is not uncommon for Watchtower cells to operate in the dark. Years may pass before some even begin to suspect something went awry. It was my pleasure to assist. From now on, I suspect you'll see a lot less Watchtower activity. But do not think that they are gone completely. There will still be operatives out there. Maintain vigilance, and I'm sure you will be fine. Before you take your leave, I wanted to ask, did Torrin try to extract any information from the Watchtower mainframe? I thought he might. Allow me just a moment and I'll see what he was able to extract. Intriguing. There are new designs for skydrops on here.
New designs.
They seem to be based around some kind of deviant technology. We may be able to fabricate these skydrops, but I will require more data for this. If you can bring me enough computer cores, I will see what I can do. I will take no more of your time. I'm glad you survived your encounter with Watchtower. Until we speak again.
Watchtower major race. 为什么是那个更新？
Do you need me for something?
You looking for something?
You really are something else. I was ready to do it, you know? To stay on Heimdall Station as it blew up. But I was trying so hard to play the part of the hero, I didn't stop to think there might be another way. Thanks for talking me out of it. It's twice you've saved my life now. So much for me making things even.
I'm keeping a running tab. I'm keeping a running tab. 我会让你的恩情还不完的。我的恩情你还不完。
Yeah, well, that makes two of us. Now, after how badly we busted them up, I don't think we'll need to worry about Watchtower anymore. At least, not in any serious way. I'm sure we'll still encounter the odd patrol or group of operatives, but as far as them being able to capture us, I do believe that ship has sailed. If you want to keep your fleet going, I'd say that's up to you. I mean, would still be useful, just less of a necessity now. Well, sure. It's a dangerous universe out there. There's more than just Watchtower to keep an eye out for. But, like I said, it'll be up to you. Not to the extent that they were, no. At least not for a long, long time. As far as we know, Heimdall Station was the only place they could contain Starboard for extended periods. Without the station, even if they did capture us, we'd likely just be able to escape. So for now, I think we're good and safe. Speaking of things on the mind, that whole bonding thing, I've been thinking about that, and I've got a theory. Well, not so much a theory as a hazy notion, but here goes. Those people we spoke to. I think we were both talking to a part of each other. Not a conscious part, more like a spirit. A representation of our thoughts and feelings. And maybe because we're Starborn, or perhaps because of where we were or how we got there, it allowed us to form a deeper understanding. And because of that, we now have this connection between us, this bond. Does that make sense? Anyway, I don't know about you, but I definitely feel something between us that wasn't there before. The part of you I spoke to, it said if you were to pass through Unity to travel onto another universe, that I could go with you now, if I wanted. I don't know if that's true, but I think I'd be okay with that. I think I would like to go with you. But really, that's a decision for you to make. So, assuming I can travel to the same universe as you...
多一个熟悉的人当然更好了，我靠。
You're asking big questions that I do not have the answers to. But I guess if you were to pass through the Unity, I'd figuratively or literally get pulled along with you. The way it was worded, it seemed like I had a choice in the matter, at least for the first time. After that, I'm fairly sure it would become a permanent arrangement, which is why I think you need to be the one to make the choice on this. This is your show, not mine. Besides, something tells me you may be moving on to more important things in the future. So if I can, I'd like to help with that. All right. If you ever do step into the Unity, find yourself on the road to another universe, you now got yourself a travel buddy. Although, no idea how that'll play out. Somehow I doubt I'll just appear next to you. That would just be too easy. But I'll do my best to find you. And if Watchtower tracks you before I do, hang on, just need to send you something. There. I transferred data for a signal frequency. Aim a comm broadcast on that frequency at any Watchtower ship's transmitter array. I'll be monitoring Watchtower comms, so if you send that signal, I'll know exactly where you are, and I'll be sure to get to you as quickly as I can.
你能相当于从远处招他是吗？啊。
Think of it as a deep space ping. As I'm sure you know, communications between systems can be tricky. But plenty of people have found creative workarounds, including Watchtower. So we just borrow their hardware to send a message. Oh, and you'll have to memorize that frequency, because when you hop universes, you can't take the data with you. If I arrive before you, I guess I'll just start getting stuff ready. You know, meet Harper, repair Stardock, save Gren. Oh, and I can get my old ship back. Wonder how long I'll be able to keep it next time. Okay then, moving on. That slate I gave you, the one with data from the Watchtower mainframe? Have you had a chance to look at it yet? Don't know for sure, but I think it might be filled with computer cores. And maybe some other stuff too. Anyway, I think you should check it out. Would make a nice opportunity for some plundering. Stock up on some more Watchtower tech. And, added bonus, if you commit the location and access codes to memory, no reason you couldn't plunder the storehouse after a Unity jump. Get a leg up on Watchtower from the beginning. If you travel to a new universe, that is. Okay. Yeah. I think that's all I needed to say. So, let's get back to it. There's still a lot to see out there, and I sure am looking forward to seeing it.
Stardock.不过这边还没装好哎，有些地方。这太漂亮。That 花瓶。自动医生，但我们这个船上有诊所，就不要建这个。
Last night was enlightening. I hope to learn more next time.
2332年8月10日。超大质量黑洞之息。
All systems looking good, boss.
I'm feeling faint. Let me take a look at you. Don't mind the mess. My last patient wasn't feeling, cooperative. My stock's limited, but every piece is worth its weight in gold.
Ship's shield.
You're missing the required number of cores for this. Catch you later.
Excuse me. Take your time.
Need old Lyle to help you out.
You look well.
Hey, how's it going out there?
Go right ahead. Difficult and lonely are the first words that spring to mind. My folks moved to Aquila out of necessity, not because they thought it'd be easy. They had decades of survival experience between them when we got there. There were still plenty of close calls. Damn near everything wanted to kill us out there. We had to be tough as Kevlar and stubborn as gravity just to make it to sundown every day. Fire, starvation, sickness, you name it, the brewers probably lived through it. But the most dangerous thing out there were the Ashta, of course. We tried our damnedest to stay out of their way. That didn't always pan out. They knew we were there, and they didn't like it. Best we could do was stay armed and keep the outpost in good shape. It was the only place we could hide when a hungry Ashta showed up looking for a meal. I was 10. Old enough to understand why my parents made the choice to leave behind the farm where I was born and move to Aquila. I lived out there for 5 years, long enough for the war to end and the settled systems to quiet down afterward. Sometimes, I don't miss having to check around every corner for predatory aliens, but something magical about living off the land. When a place is providing for you, you learn to see it as more than just a landscape. That's how I feel about Aquila. It's mean and prickly and it don't like people much, but it's home. I'll always have a special place in my heart for it. I'll be sure to pass that along, Captain. My folks will be over the moons to hear that I shared our family story. Mainly folks like you, who travel off the beaten path. All sorts of people work on the fringes of occupied space, and plenty of them need help making their way. I've worked for smugglers, big game hunters, the rangers. Hell, I even worked as a bodyguard for a biologist a couple months. At the end of the day, I'm not picky about where the work comes from. I guess you could say I'm a genuine merc. A few people have hired me to run the Red Mile with them. That job always makes my skin crawl. I like staring death in the face as much as the next guy, but even I don't screw around on Porima 3. Far from it. I barely know a microscope from a grav drive. That biologist hired me for my muscle and my tracking skills, not my scientific expertise. The thing they did too, that crazy son of a gun was more willing to put themselves in danger than half the spacers I know. They would walk straight into a predator's mouth if it meant getting a better tissue sample. And I never saw myself working with Constellation. Looks like the universe played us both, boss. But as far as employers go, I could do a whole lot worse than you. You sure know how to keep things interesting. And the pay's solid, too. I send most of my credits home to help my parents settle an old debt, so steady paycheck means a lot. My folks used to own a farm in the Cheyenne system. When they split for Aquila at the beginning of the war, they leased the land to a big corporation for a bit of income. The deal they signed said that the company would pay to use the land each month. Then, when things settled down, my parents could buy it back for its original value. But the scumbags didn't mention they were charging interest on the price. By the time the war ended, my parents owed them 50 times what the land was worth. They've been working at it for about 20 years. Most folks might have given up by now. Like I said before, the brewers are stubborn. The corporation generously agreed to let them live in our old house on the farm and work the land to pay off some of their debts. They don't see a lick of profit from it, though. Their wages go directly to the corporation. The monthly rent just adds more credits to their debt. You and me both. They clearly wrote the contract to screw my parents over. We've been working our asses off for years trying to get our land back from those corporate scumbags. We're getting there. We've got enough credits set aside to buy their old farmhouse on the property back. But my parents don't want to make any moves until we can pay the whole thing off at once. They don't want to screw around with any more contracts. It's not just a piece of land. It's my family's legacy. Brewers have farmed there for generations. My ancestors are buried there. It's not the kind of place you can just give up on. Just talking about it makes me pretty livid. That damn corporation don't need the money. They're still screwing over honest folk like my parents. I know it weighs heavy on them both. Here's hoping the whole thing will be over soon. We're making some progress, but it's slow.
不知道为什么我从来没有和这个人聊过他的故事，这还是我第一次听。
Okay by me.
这换个座位是啥意思？
Well, ain't you a sight for sore eye? Fine by me, boss. Difficult and low. Yeah, decade. We're here to be tough as... I'll be sure to pass. Nothing would make me happier, boss. A few years ago, I was hired by a guy who was heading to Magnar for a hunt. It's a wicked dangerous planet. Even I had a hard time finding a safe spot to camp. Our first day out, we were ambushed by some creatures. Two of them jumped on my back and started trying to get my helmet off. Tore my gun clean out of my hand. That is why I never leave home without a knife. When you got skills like mine, that is more than enough to fight off a couple hungry aliens. He got jumped too. I saved his ass after saving my own. When the whole thing was over, he decided he'd had enough and called off the rest of the trip. Not everyone's cut out for the rough and tumble life, you know? I've always said I know how to handle myself around creatures. That wasn't just hot air, boss. There's more where that came from. Got time for another? Love the enthusiasm, boss. A while back, this crazy smuggler hired me to trek around Kodos with her. I guess a contact of hers left a ship of contraband out there for her to pick up. We got there okay, but by the time we did, we had company. A dozen spacers had found the ship and were trying to steal the cargo. They started shooting the second they saw us. The smuggler bolted, left me behind. Most people would have been toast, but not a dead-eye like me. I wiped them all out and made it home in time for last call. Nope, never saw her again. She had a bunch of my gear on her when she bolted too. It took me 6 months to replace everything she took off with. You trying to make me blush, Captain? I've got one more story if you're interested. I love a captive audience. You remember I told you I worked for a biologist? I was their bodyguard while they were researching prey animals on some insane desert planet. And one day, they insisted on going trekking, even though I said the weather was bad for it. Well, when we were a few clicks from the ship, a sandstorm came up. That was bad, but the real trouble started afterwards. The sand buried our ship and stranded us. We had to live on next to nothing for 2 weeks while we dug it out. Well, hell of a lot better than I was expecting. They picked up every survival technique I taught them in a heartbeat. To tell you the truth, I think they kind of liked it out there. Saw the whole thing as one big adventure, even when we had to go to bed hungry. It was one of my favorite contracts I've ever taken. You don't meet a lot of people with that kind of spirit. Nah, I knew we'd be all right. I read that the place we were going to was prone to sandstorms, so I had a plan. When we landed, I parked the ship right at the foot of a huge rock formation. Figured something like that wouldn't get buried even if the ship did. This goes to show you, it's always best to have an expert on hand. You know, traveling around with a member of Constellation is going to make a pretty good story the next time someone asks me about it. I hope you don't mind being my protagonist, Captain. You have my word, I'll go heavy on the flattering details. You want to talk about anything else? Difficult and lonely are the first words that spring to mind. My folks moved to Aquila out of necessity, not because they thought it'd be easy. They had decades of survival experience between them when we got there. There were still plenty of close calls. Damn near everything wanted to kill us out there. We had to be tough as Kevlar and stubborn as gravity just to make it to sundown every day.
我当时在那个视频底下有写，标题里有写，回音没办法，解决不了。
Systems online. Please state your needs. Processing. Skydrop restock in progress. Negative. Ship maintenance is unnecessary at this time. I can provide detailed listings of each ship model offered.
黑鹰3，战锤3，风暴骑士3，天神2，骡子3，长剑4，努力3，马拉松。
Many freelancers gather on this station. I recommend inquiring at the bar. Please present your questions one at a time. Commencing standby.
State your needs. What do you need? I don't think there are any more. You know where to find.
之前托人让我看一下那个数据板，这也没什么东西，问题是。
A visitor to my workshop. If you return if you require further assistance.
不过这个门还是关着的，需要钥匙。What？ 这门也是关着的。
Hey, Cat, what's up?
Been waiting for you to ask. Take a look at this.
并
Need
用
me for
点。
something, boss?
Thought you'd never ask.
哦，他是被那个瓦鲁
Let's
房
catch
子
up
追
later
上。
over drinks.
Good to see you. Sure, Captain. See you later.
How's it going? Sure, I don't mind at all. Talk to you later.
How are you, Dusty? Yes.
How are you, Dusty?
Good. Letting someone else do the worrying has given
这是咱们开场第一个见到的人啊！
process my
啊，
husband's
林姐，还有那个完了，那人叫什么来着？啊，
I do can bring him
海乐，
Once
林
that's
姐和
complete,
海乐。
I commissioned a memorial to be constructed for Manuel. For closure and because he was never given a proper burial. It was built on the asteroid where we first met. I wanted it there as a testament to our happy memories. I like knowing they'll be remembered when I'm gone. All right. That's enough sentimentality for one day. We have work to do, Dusty. Let's get back to it. Farewell.
Hello, Cap. Ready for action, Captain?
It's nice to see you.
Always a pleasure, Captain.
Huh? Sorry, I was lost in thought. No, I don't mind at all. It's coming along brilliantly, Captain. Thank you for asking. Traveling with you has provided me some fascinating research material. As I've told you before, I believe you're the agent of a great destiny. Living so closely with you has helped shape my theories on fate in particular.
Fate?
You've helped me understand that fate and free will are deeply intertwined, and that there's room for both in my philosophy. You're an extremely good example of how someone with a cosmic destiny to fulfill can shape the future with conscious choices. I believe that the decisions made by people like you are capable of shaping the entire universe. Only bits and pieces of the first draft. I intend to compose the entire thing when I get too old to continue traveling. When that time comes, I'll retire to Avalon and spend my final years in scholarly pursuit at the homestead where I grew up. I can't wait to hear what you think of it. Traveling closely with you has been a big inspiration to me. I have every intention of including you in it. I sincerely hope I can do your story justice. I'm an open book. I'll keep you in my thoughts.
What's on the docket? What's the one phrase you say the most? Mines? I'm sorry, officer. I don't know how that got there. Already, huh? Not gonna throw around a ball and do some bonding first? All right. Fire away. That's a long story. You sure you want to hear it? Or are you cool with the short version? Oh God, seriously? Oh, fine. I'll start from the beginning. So I got a reputation in the smuggling business. No muss, no fuss. But my main rule is, I don't rat out my suppliers. And I got 20 months in a Martian prison eating salted rocks to prove it.
为己天诛地。
Smuggling organs. And I know what you're thinking, but I'm just the delivery guy. Not my business who they belong to. Sure they did. Freedom, a swanky apartment, and all the steak I could eat. But there's an old saying, if you feed birds bread, they forget how to fetch the berry. I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna live a beggar's life to be king for a day. Then remind me to never tell you any secrets. So I'm expecting to do hard labor. Strings on my back like a damn puppet for the UC. But after 6 months, I get out for good behavior. Well, I tell them they got the wrong guy. My behavior flat out stinks. Still, the guard insists. Says someone in a fancy suit vouched for me, and he's waiting at the broken spear. Now, I've never worn a suit in my life, and I don't deal with anyone who does. And I'm willing to bet this guy's favor comes with his own set of strings. Best I can tell, a middleman. Maybe he worked for the snakes, but more likely he was just a contact, twice removed. Correcto mundo. I was on probation, and that means twice the checks and pat-downs. Even if my old contacts were still around, no one would want to take the risk. Anyway, guy offers me a job, but he's real light on the details. He can't tell me what cargo he wants to move. He can't tell me who it's for. Won't even tell me his damn name. Just wrote some numbers on a napkin and left the bar. But the napkin told me all I needed to know. The coordinates and the payment in advance.
预付款哈。
Yeah, I would have preferred that, but I get why they didn't. There's no guarantee I wouldn't just sell those numbers to the highest bidder. Not a lot, but enough. As for the job, it went down like this. I jumped to the location, and there's another guy waiting for me. My job is to pass off the cargo to him. Thing is, he's a real chatty bastard. Tells me the same story I just told you, how he was given coordinates to land and coordinates to jump to. He tells me he thinks there's a whole crew of us working like a relay team, but I keep my mouth shut because it's none of my business. Funny thing is, next time I do the job, the chatty guy's gone, and I'm doing his route.
这就是瓦鲁如何建立自己的补给线，以及为什么之前没有人知道瓦鲁凯辛在哪。
Maybe. There's no maybe about it. The guy's dead as gross shit. Anyway, every time I do the job, the jumps get more and more remote, and the relay team gets smaller and smaller. And the more remote the job, the more slick the operation. Faces I haven't seen, shorter drop-offs, no convos. It's all business. Then one day, I'm asked to meet with someone who clearly isn't local. Yeah, but I wasn't in the club just yet. At that point, I realized the whole thing was a test, and now it's time to jump to the homeland for real. I also knew that if I screwed this up, I'd be a dead man, so pressure was on. I could hear my old man chirping in my head, reminding me to keep from shaking. So I kept still, said nothing, and completed the job. More importantly, I earned their trust. The rest is like that old tale about Jinan and the snake. History. Doctor prescribed it for me. Said it'd be good for my blood pressure.
好，这对话选项真是搞笑了，靠！
No, it's more like a you not getting the joke problem, but I'll let it slide because I like you. But if you want the real story, I became a smuggler for the same reason any hustler, deadbeat, or soldier of fortune does anything. Money. I did it for the money.
那是人类的基本欲望。
We had enough. You know how smuggling isn't all the way bad, just a little bad. Well, maybe if we were poor, I would have been a pirate or spacer. But I only had to break the law a little to get by. True. But you can only make the most money one way. The way that works best for you. All right. Getting there. I guess I'll start from the beginning. My dad was a military guy, and we moved around a lot. That meant spending a lot of time at spaceports. That's where I got my education. I'd watch how crates were moved, logged, and stashed. I'd see how palms were greased and how to ask for what you want without saying what you mean.
走私学硕士学位，靠，什么玩意？
Had to be. The military was his life. The old man didn't have much else. He could fit all his interests into a teaspoon if he had to. Like what? Working for Gal Bank? I don't need that kind of respect. Long story short, I eventually saved enough to buy a small freighter and got in contact with the guy at the Trade Authority. And here's the kicker. My first job? Smuggling a big old pile of Varun heretic writings. At the time, I thought they were just pamphlets. But hey, maybe they were a sign. It's all run by House Dulkef, from managing the supply chain to enlisting spies and doing intelligence. They call themselves the Ministry of Commerce. I thought it was just a fancy name for a smuggling racket, but being on the inside, I can tell you it's a well-oiled machine. Everything runs on time. Every book is exact to the decimal. And everybody involved knows to keep their mouth shut. Gotta be. Although I haven't met any myself. And I know better than to ask. I answer what I can, but I don't tell any secrets. I mean, hell, I don't know any secrets, and I'd like to keep it that way. You mean all that serpent stuff? I don't know. Isn't any crazier than the Sanctum Universum. I've lived a long time and seen a lot of weird shit. Great serpent, lesser hamster, holy pineapple. It's all the same to me. Pray to whoever or whatever. If your creds are good, so are we. One time, I had to do a job that was part smuggler, part taxi. And this guy I was delivering was a mean son of a bitch. Had a bunch of rules too. Most of them were bullshit, of course. Like, no eating in the cockpit. So, me being the consumer of fine snacks that I am, I wait until he goes below deck and unwraps some chunks. I'm just about to take a bite when I feel this presence behind me, hovering. So I turn around to peek. And sure enough, he's right there. There's this long pause. Like he's about to rage and about to go full vortex horror on me.
Vortex
so I'm thinking I'm a dead man. Doornail City, don't let the hammer hit you on the way out. But then he asked me, is that a chunk? Where can I get one?
这对快餐的爱是普世的。靠。
With chunks, there's always a chance. But I got lucky. The guy loved the stuff. But yeah, turns out the guy was an oddball.
就像从来没吃过麦当劳、肯德基一样。
That got me thinking.
是。
There's a lot of people like that on Varun Kai. So I started a side hustle doing stuff off the books. Whatever you're saying, I got you covered. Hell, give me enough time and I might become Dodger's unofficial ambassador. Sure. Even in the settled systems, I don't just smuggle valuables. I bring food, stories, bat ball scores. I've got a client who pays me a king's ransom just for a recording of last year's championship game. Point is, I feel like I can be a missionary to Dazra, teaching the Bible of fast food, and contact sports.
接触性运动。
Nothing worth doing is without risk. At least I heard someone say that in a movie once. Either way, none of it matters now. I don't smuggle full-time anymore now that I work for you.
Smuggle part-time 是吧？靠，你不 smuggle full-time smuggle part-time 这。
I can tell you, but just so you know, talking about this stuff's not really my thing. And yet you asked the question.
那你还，靠，那你还问？
My family and I aren't close. I'd like to give you a sob story like we're all alcoholics or something. But the truth is a lot stranger. We just don't talk. It's not like we hate each other or anything. If I see my brother, I'll be the first to give him a hug. It's just been 10 years since the last one. Nope. Weird, I know. But that's just not something we ever did. That's why me getting stuck on Room Kai wouldn't seem out of the ordinary to anyone. If I get lost, the only people who are gonna file a missing persons report are the goons at the Trade Authority. I don't know, the thought never crosses my mind. It's not like I'm dying or anything. Of course, when I do die, it'll probably be another 20 years before someone tells them. Yeah, maybe I will. I probably won't. But I definitely should. Anyway, I know it doesn't make for good conversation, but it's the truth. If you really want to get me talking, better to ask me about homebrewed kombucha or painting miniatures for my family. Oh, it's my favorite hobby. It's relaxing as hell. If I got downtime in the ship, I'll usually spend it painting those little guys until they're totally custom. Symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. SCOBY. In layman's terms, it's just fermentation and flavor. It's what gives the kombucha its whole vibe. Either way, it's a better use of our time than talking about relatives I can't pick out of a two-person police lineup. Yeah, we'll talk more later.
Hey, now talk to me, my dear friend. Our friendship has motivated me to take a moment and reflect on my life. I would have never done that otherwise. You bet. Anytime you want to talk about us, know that I'm here for you just as you've been there for me.
I was just thinking about you. Thank you for reminding me. Goodbye, dearest.
Captain, hello. I will see you at a later time.
Yeah, boss? Sure thing, Skipper. I had a smuggling run for the Trade Authority end badly. I lost my cargo, my ship, and now I owe them big time. I'm completely broke. But the Trade Authority won't stop hounding me until they've collected on the debt. That's why I was begging for work at the viewport. To make matters worse, I have a family back home that's depending on me. If I don't work, they don't eat. According to their official profile, the Trade Authority promote free trade and provide economic stability across the galaxy. Truth is, they run the largest contraband network in the settled systems. Mech parts, biotech, drugs, nothing's off limits. And they do business with anybody, even the Crimson Fleet. Boss, when I said the Trade Authority did business with everybody, I meant everybody. UC government included. But you didn't hear that from me. Whatever they stuck in my hull. I didn't ask a lot of questions. Figured the less I knew about what I was involved in, the better. Now you're catching on. They've been all over me since I got into debt with them. And I get the feeling they aren't afraid of firing a couple bullets to get what they want. That's the sensible choice, Skipper. You don't want to tangle with people like that. Trust me. So long, boss. You need something? Sure. Not much to tell, really. I have a wife, her name's Kalinda, and 3 kids back home on New Atlantis. They're all crammed into a one room in the well.
香港有个区叫深井，
Kalinda's
有
construction
个
job
地
there
方
with
叫
the
深
lights
井，
on.
应该是。
That's why I started doing runs for the Trade Authority. It seemed like it could be my big break. That didn't go as planned. It's the lower class district of New Atlantis. It's pretty rough down there. Not the kind of place you want to raise a family. Kalinda and I want to move somewhere else more than anything. Yeah. In hindsight, I don't think getting into business with the Trade Authority was my brightest idea. If I could do things over, I'd go legit. Become a long hauler for a company in New Atlantis or something. Bella's 9, Lindsay's 7, and little Hallie's only 3. All of them look just like their mom. They're such sweet kids. I want better for them than growing up in the well. Once we're out of debt, the first thing Kalinda and I are going to do is save up for a nicer place. Thanks, Skipper. Once we get this debt taken care of, things should be A-okay. At least, I hope so.
现在我有这么多钱了，我真想要是有个选项能帮直接帮他们还清，我靠，反正我有的是钱。
My ship got hit by a group of spacers while I was hauling a shipload of goods from Neon to New Atlantis. They shot out my engines, boarded my ship, and held me at gunpoint while they took their pick of my cargo hold. I'm lucky my engines were the only thing they were interested in pumping full of bullets. You never know with spacers. If they do, I never heard about it.
6号。
I guess they don't like making enemies. Some vanguards who were on duty heard my distress signal.
啊，先锋队救的。
Honestly, it might be for the best that those spacers emptied my cargo hold. I would have been in hot water if the vanguard caught me with contraband. Most of them take their jobs real seriously.
因为他们要靠这个才能当公民，当然了，应该比连支海军的人还敬业。
If they do, like I just said, Skipper, you never know with spacers. For all I know, they might have followed me all the way from Neon. I'm a broke weapons expert.
还有 broke，
My ship wasn't exactly top
很抱歉，这
All the weapons experience in the
非
world
常
doesn't mean squat if your
离
enemies
谱。
got bigger guns.
I'm a broke weapon expert.
Like really big guns. Yeah, not exactly. They really raked me over the coals. Whatever I was carrying must have been real valuable. Once they verified that all the cargo was gone, they made me sell my ship to put a dent in the credits I owed them. It didn't matter to them that I couldn't work without a ship. They don't go in for
贸
soft
易
stuff.
管理局真坏啊！贸易管理局是真的赛博朋克这玩意儿。一个公司但是在很多人眼里，在他假扮政府，然后只手遮天，靠！一切只有一个目的，他们做的所有的事情，贸易管理局只为了一件事，就是钱，就是钱。所以他们和 Watchtower 这种组织还不一样，就是为了钱，而且甚至这已经渗透了所有的公权力。
She was real upset.
甚至管自己叫贸易管理
Usually she
局，
gets mad when something goes wrong, but
明明就是一家公司罢了。
me working for the Trade Authority was bringing in more credits than we'd ever had. Once I lost the job, it didn't take long for our savings to dry up.
整个星空最这种 Mega Corp 像的这种怎么说实体，并不是霓虹，其实，而是贸易管理局。
I Yeah, sure does. I'll try not to let it rub off on you.
霓虹都不是龙神，我觉得，就真是贸易管理局。
Good talking with you.
这么多人。
I hope you're here to make my day, boss.
Glad to be a part of the team. All is well, Captain, all things considered.
Everything looks good on my station,
I was hoping
Captain.
do you need something? Yes, that is fine with me. I am glad we are getting to...
这是什么东西？这是啥呀？哪来的这个技能啊？我靠 ！David's Blessing， 这什么东西啊？这是增加生命氧气20%，50公斤的负重上限，但这是啥 creation 里面加的我都不知道，而且只有1级，靠！独行侠，我该做这个了。其实虽然我完全不想做这个，但是其实可以做一做，反正闲的没事儿。这个我是完全不想做，因为你必须劫掠呀。你可以说服他们投降，然后不劫掠，倒是可以这样。但是，哎，不太想做，不太想干这事儿。你可以说我要打劫，然后你就走了，像在宇宙里搞恶作剧一样的。电池。
All systems looking good, boss.
Let me know if you need something. Oh, it's you. What can I do? You. Goodbye.
Hello, Captain.
Great day for some exploring, huh? See you soon.
Captain on deck.
Good day, Captain. I wish you the best.
都叫我 Captain， 我好爽。所有人都叫我 Captain， 一叫一个爽，我靠。
How's it going? If you want, Captain. I was in a starship accident when I was young.
哦，这样。
It killed my sister, Emmeline. Left me with this scar. I haven't been off-world since. After Emmeline died, space travel lost a lot of its luster. I couldn't see the wonder in it anymore without her. I'm a universal, so that's a heavier thing for me than most. It's a term for practitioners of Sanctum Universum. My entire family were universals. The accident happened 12 years ago. 12 years to the day before we met, actually. I didn't have much of a choice at first. I was only a kid when she died. Didn't have the means
心理阴影
to
了。
And when I grew
太
up,
空
I
船
just
事故，
couldn't stand the thought of the space lanes
还是
without
童
her.
年的心理阴影。
Just seeing a starship at the spaceport was enough to make me miss her. She was the only family I had. Her parents died when I was just a baby. Once Emmeline was gone, I was all on my own. I mainly took care of myself. Our parents had a small house in the stretch that Emmeline inherited when they died. That's where I stayed. A couple of the neighbors offered to let me live with them, but I never took them up on it. I couldn't bear to move out of that house. But they kept me fed and helped with the bills until I was old enough to start working. Wouldn't have made it without them.
朋友们，星空的文本量太吓人了，这些我都没有聊过。我招了很多人，但是因为我当时没有空处理很多事情，我就直接把他们分配到 舰船或者哨站，我都没有和他们聊过，全都有特殊对话呀。这游戏里应该有20、30个可以招募的独特名字的队友吧，起码有20几个吧，我感觉，我也没具体数过，每个人都一大堆。我看25万行对白，对白量对吧？他之前不有个图吗？远超辐射4加老滚5，这是很明显能体现出来。你想，老滚5有特殊对话的队友只有1位，只有大小姐。然后辐射4有，但是几个？10个。辐射4是，这是实在有点离谱了，这对白量。
They died in a starship accident too, almost exactly 12 years before Emmeline did. Some coincidence, huh?
啊，全是星舰事故，我靠，那怪不得，他一家人全是因为星舰事故死的。
They died in a starship.
就像你想，要是有一个人，他一家人全是，比如说车祸，或者全是飞机事故，而且还不是一次。啊，不是说一次，靠，这也太离谱了。说第一次是妹妹，第二，然后不是第一先是父母，然后又是妹妹，全因为这事情。
I wanted to know what you stood for before I signed on, and my faith teaches that a person's connection to space says a lot about them. Leaving Aquila was a big decision for me. I had to make sure I was traveling with a captain who loves being out here, whatever their reason. It told me you think of space as more than a means to an end. You just really love it out here if you travel just for the thrill of it. I have a lot of respect for people who see things that way. Hope you're superstitious. This is gonna sound crazy otherwise. Something life-changing happens to me every 12 years. Almost to the day. We met right on time. 12 years after the last major event. It felt like a sign. I'm not the type of person to ignore those. I'm a member of the Sanctum Universum. We call ourselves Universals. That eases my mind. To tell you the truth, I'm still nervous about being out here. It's been years since the last time I was on a starship. My whole life. My parents were early adopters of Keeper Oculus's teachings.
我们现在都知道这 Keeper Oculus 是个新意啊，是那个朝圣者。
There are a lot of other Universals in the Freestar Collective, so we didn't have a church to go to or anything. Our shared faith is part of the reason we were so close when I was growing up. Sanctum Universum means holy universe. That's the core of what we believe. The universe itself is holy. We think of space travel as a means of connecting with God. We believe they are out here somewhere and that
叫什么来着 ？Creators， 起码是神殿的 Creators， 神庙心意 Unity。
He arrived in New Atlantis several decades ago and started spreading the beliefs of the Sanctum there.
"我就不能打哈哈吗？我就非要我觉得这里比较
Religion isn't for everybody. I won't try to convince you otherwise. Whatever you believe or don't is your business. As long as you give me the same courtesy, there's no reason it has to come between us. Right. Okay. Hearing the story once wasn't enough for you? There was a fire aboard my sister Emmeline's ship. She died saving me from it. I'm not going over the rest again. I already feel guilty about what happened to her. Reopening old wounds won't make that any better. The thing that changed most about me is my faith. I was a devoted universal before Emmeline died, but I barely pray at all anymore. It's part of why I've avoided space travel all this time. Didn't see the point in being out there without something to connect to. But I'm trying to get it back. That's why I decided to join your crew. I'm trying to reconnect with that part of myself. Me too. Emmeline believed that our faith in the Sanctum Universum connected us to our parents even after they were gone. I hope finding a way to believe again will make Emmeline feel closer too. That'd be nice. Fine by me.
So, thanks for stopping to chat.
这是霍普镇的
Bye, Captain.
Aye, Captain. Good to see you.
Any vacancies on your crew?
Yes, I do.
I'm not asking for much, just a reasonable share. Excellent, where to? Let me know when you have an
哎，
assignment.
我不是要 sign 了吗？
I'm ready to work. Wherever you need me.
那到 outpost 去吧，既然这样。
Heading there now.
Howdy, Skipper. We'll catch up later.
Glorious day, don't you think?
Ready for action, Captain.
Everything's 5 by 5, Captain.
All systems looking good, boss.
啊，这好爽啊！每次经过他们这个这来回这个报告，我爽死我了。再来一遍。等一下，
Always a pleasure. Hello, Captain.
瓦斯科不要挡着我对话。
Everything's 5 by 5, Captain.
Ready for action, Captain.
Everything looks good at my station, Captain.
All's well, Captain.
哎呦，太爽了这个！
Hey there.
Glad to be a part of the team.
你怎么不叫 Captain？
Captain on deck.
Hi, Captain.
Hello again.
啊，全都叫 Captain。
Hello again.
It's a gorgeous day in the space lanes. Yeah, take a look at this.
这是那个医生，
Kagite.
他那是什么语啊？
Hello.
All systems looking good, boss.
Always a pleasure, Captain.
Important one.
5.03世界史。
I'm ready to listen. Always a pleasure.
杀了。
Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot. Hope we can talk later.
平民？原来这里有平民，我怎么才知道？ Emily Archer。
Captain,
能量武器系统。赫拉克勒斯号。这其实是运输舰，运输舰不应该让。 我这不能把林姐给搞过去，我靠！这个管理不是因为有这个舰队以后，这个管理，因为在这默认的管理界面，你只能管自己的船嘛，这有点费劲了，这么搞。
Back again, I see.
给 unassign。 Defensive。 系统损害巴雷特。 有舰队以后，我们的人雇员不够了，我感觉。如果要每个船都给人填满这个技能的话，等等，他技能生不生效我都不确定，说实话。 但是无论如何，我都想给他们搭配出比较好的一套。这 mod 并没有提过说你这些技能到底会不会给那个生效，不知道。不需要这么多人，感觉。哎，哦，原来 unassign 是整个列表啊！靠，我在搞笑呢，那没事儿。哦，原来这样。 对，是这样。怪。1、2、3、4、5、6、7，是不是少了2层？货船。
Ready for action, Captain. All is well, Captain.
1。
We should booby trap the cargo on the ship.
靠！
Trust any of your crew not to steal.
我特意把它分配到货船上的，因为它不是走私的吗？以前管走私的。天体防御有效粒子融合。
Hi, Captain. Good to see you.
Lost in my thoughts, but glad to be back. Oh, good. Glad we could take some time out of our wild adventures and just have a nice chat.
2、3、4、5、6、7。
It's 5 by 5.
8、9、10。林姐现在是咱们的货船驾驶员。
Hello, Captain. Glad to be part of the team.
Everything looks good at my station, Captain. Good to see you. Need a hand? It was good to see you.
What？ 哎呦我去，林姐，您这直接撞上来了，可还行？天！ 哎呦！好像你不小心碰了自己的船，你就不能对接，除非你等下次刷新。那貌似就是你算作攻击了，你碰了自己的船算作攻击了，有的是。这船谁在开？OK。Fuck.
Ready for action, Captain.
大家看到那些船在对接吗？我的舰队，上面这些在对接的船就是我的舰队。哇，哎，您这对接，你把空间站给蹭了，林姐。咱们对接能不能认真一点啊？这一个两个的。从上面能看到自己的整个舰队。
Always a pleasure, Captain. Nice day, huh?
今天就到这儿，拜拜。